What's up, guys? Ryan here with Grateful Tread, backpacking and outdoor adventures. Got my partner in crime here today, Brody. Say hi, Brody.
Hi.
This is my son. You can't tell the family resemblance. We are on the Buffalo River Trail today. We just got dropped off at the Boxley trailhead by my father-in-law. Thanks, K-Pop. You know who you are. So we have a just under 40-mile journey back to Pruitt Landing, where my truck is. I'm pretty sure I have my keys, so hopefully they're in here. So yeah, we're gonna try to do 10 miles or so today. This first stretch here from Boxley to Ponca, there's probably gonna be no water. So we're not even sure we're gonna make it all the way to Ponca. So we are loaded down like pack mules. I've got about 6.5 liters of water on me. Brody's got about 2.5 on him. And yeah, so his pack weight is probably about 30 pounds. Mine's a little over 40 probably. But the only chance of rain we really have on this trip is the first probably 3 hours. That's from now till about noon. So I don't know how much filming we'll be able to get done until after then. So until then, see you. Nicely done. Hiking in the wintertime. Probably my favorite time to be out here. But some things you gotta think about when you're hiking in the winter. We'll kind of go over those as we get there. But right now I'm hiking along. It's starting to get a little warm. So it's a good time to talk about how we layer in the wintertime and how important it is to regulate your heat and also the moisture. Name of the game in the wintertime: stay warm, stay dry. In order to stay warm, you've got to stay dry. So if I start sweating, off goes the hood. If I'm still hot, I've got to shed layers. All right. Be bold, start cold when you begin your hike. It's okay to begin your hike a little bit cold. You don't really want to be comfortable or, God forbid, warm whenever you start. So layer up. That way you can shed, 1 or 2 layers, as opposed to taking off a huge jacket where you get that huge temperature swing. But I'm out of breath. That's all I got for now. All right, it's about 11:40. We are almost 4 miles into the trail. Coming out of the Boxley Valley there. It's been raining all morning. It's supposed to rain until about noon or so. So I haven't been doing a whole lot of filming just yet. Once the rain quits, I'll get some different shots of the trail and some of the scenery. But right now it's just too rainy to film. My son is a little ways behind me, so I'm just waiting on him for just a second. Once he catches up, we'll get to going again. We'll probably stop for lunch here within the next hour or so. Starting to get kind of hungry. Duty calls. All right, we are roughly 5 miles into the trail. It's a little after 1 p.m. We just finished lunch, so we are about to get back on the trail, heading towards Ponca. I think we're about, 6 miles away from Ponca, so we're going to try to get pretty close. I don't know if we'll make it all the way. We'll see what happens. All right, here we go. All right, let's do it. All right, we're about 6 miles in. This first little section here, don't really have any access to water for, I don't know, the first 11 and a half, 12 miles. So we, just as a precaution, in case we can't make it that far tonight, we are packing in all the water that we'll need for today, tonight, and probably in the morning. So I've got, when we started this morning, I had 6.5 liters on me. My son's got 2.5 up there, but needless to say, this is one of the heaviest packs I've had to carry in a while. I'm north of 40 pounds, probably 43-ish, something like that. So I'm kind of feeling it a little bit with this elevation today. I usually like to keep my pack around 30 or so, or lighter. So this is kind of wearing the old legs out a little bit, but it's good. It's good exercise on a beautiful day, you know. Just never know what you're gonna get with, well, Arkansas weather in general, but winter backpacking especially. It was cold and rainy and cloudy this morning, and now it's just an absolutely gorgeous day. It's getting close to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is sort of like evening this time of year, I suppose. But we hope to be finding a campsite maybe by 4 o'clock or so. That way we can get set up before it gets dark, you know. Hiking in the dark and setting up in the dark. I've done it. I'll probably do it again, but if I can avoid it, that's what I try to do. We are about 9 miles in now and starting to run out of daylight. It is about 4 o'clock and ideally I'd like to be setting up camp right about now, but we need to get more like 10 miles in today. We really need to get 10 miles in today. So we may end up pushing a little bit closer to dark than I like, but it just is what it is. So hopefully we can get to camp and it's not so dark that we can't get any footage over there, because I'd like to get some good shots of our campsite, but we'll just see how it goes. See you in a bit. So today, I'm actually being forced to use a suspension setup I've never used before. My son ended up with my Dutchware gear, spider poly straps with Dutch clips and beetle buckles, which means I'm officially out of my comfort zone on this one. Because of that, I'm running my Superior Gear Elite suspension sling instead. This setup uses 6-foot tree huggers paired with whoopee slings, so it's a little different from what I used to, but it gets the job done. I'm pairing all that with my Dutchware 20-degree quilted chameleon hammock, and honestly, I love how easy this thing is to set up. The underquilt is already sewn in, so there's zero fiddling involved. Not having to mess with an underquilt at all is something I definitely don't regret. Inside the hammock, I'll be using the Loco Libre 0-degree sweet pepper top quilt, which should keep things nice and warm tonight. Morning. It is the morning of day 2. We are getting up and around. Got a campfire going. Brody and I are packing up camp. I'm just walking over to our food where we hung it up last night to keep it away from the critters. I'm gonna grab it, take it back to camp, and we'll enjoy some breakfast and then finish packing up and get out of here. But I thought I would go ahead and film the whole bear bag situation, so that's coming up next. Stay tuned. right, here we are getting started. The morning of day 2. We hiked almost 11 miles yesterday. We're getting a little bit of a late start this morning, but we are, I don't know, maybe a mile away from Ponca, which is an opportunity to fill up water. Conditions are pretty dry, so we pretty much are limited to filling up our water at the put-in areas for floating, or the camping areas. So we just have to be smart about filling up at each one of those locations, just to ensure that we don't run out of water on this trip. So we catch back up with you here in a bit. Little unsolicited hiking advice here. I've found over the years that you only move as fast as the slowest member of your party. So if you're hiking in a group, or even with one other person, if you suspect they're slower than you, put them up front. Put the slowest member of your group up front. You'd be surprised at how much faster you actually move. There's a little phenomenon I notice even when I'm hiking with my son. If I lead the way, I can turn around every once in a while and he will be way behind me. But if he leads the way, he blows the doors off of me and we move much faster down the trail. I don't know what that's about, but just something to think about. All right, we have arrived at Ponca, and we decided to shed some layers. It was pretty cold this morning, but we got a pretty good little hike there going before we made it to Ponca. So we filled up some water, shed some layers. Now we are gonna keep heading east towards Steel Creek. We're about 2 miles away from Steel Creek. So here we go. Pretty cool. actually seen more people out here than I thought we would. All right, we have made it to Steel Creek. Now we're climbing out of Steel Creek, heading towards Kyle's Landing, hoping there's a little bit of water flowing over here at Steel Creek, so maybe we can stop and fill up and have a drink. But I think it's about 8 miles to Kyle's Landing. We're gonna shoot for making it there. Just trying to set us up for an easy last day on this trip. So we'll see you in a bit. All right, a little trail update. We just stopped and had lunch next to Steel Creek. So we are climbing out of the Steel Creek area now. Heading towards Kyle's Landing. Got a pretty good hill or two until we make it over to Kyle's, but we got a little bit of water on us, but probably not enough to make it through the night and morning. So we need to do our best to make it to Kyle's. So this portion of the trail is pretty scenic, so hopefully we'll get some good footage. Yeah, that sounds good too. All right, that's Steel Creek Campground down below us there. Pretty cool little view from this vista up here. We are about 15.5 miles into the trail. We've probably got maybe 5 more miles to go, I think, for the day before we make it to Kyle's. So we're about to start heading that way. All right, time for a little walk and talk. When we hit the trail yesterday, the Buffalo River was pretty low, and I'll put the current water levels on this video when we get back, when I edit the film, so you can just have a reference for what they look like versus kind of what I've seen on the trail. So we packed in a lot of water between Boxley and Ponca, fully expecting that section of the trail to be completely dry. It was for the most part, but there was a stream or two that you could have filled up on, most notably Arrington Creek, I believe. It had quite a bit of flowing water. And the buffalo, at least at the put-in locations at Ponca Steel Creek, Kyle's, and the others further east, there's enough water to fill up and filter and that sort of thing. But just saying all that to say, the massive water carry that we did from Boxley to Ponca, based off of the current river levels, probably wasn't entirely necessary. I would say you just would need enough to make it, you know, to have enough to drink and make it through lunch. But there would be the opportunity to fill up before dinner. So carrying everything in between Boxley and Ponca is not entirely necessary. Trying not to think about that because I had a pack north of 40 pounds yesterday, packing in all that water. So kind of sucks, but you live and you learn. What's up, guys? Little trail update here. We are, I think, about 2 miles from Kyle's Landing. As you can see, it's starting to get dark on us. We're probably going to lose daylight in about 30 minutes or so. But we've got to make it to Kyle's. That's our next for sure water source. So that's where we'll set up camp for tonight. Maybe we can get a little bit of footage around the campfire, but as far as the scenery there at Kyle's, we'll have to capture some of that in the morning. So for now, just gonna keep on trucking. Night hiking once again. Good, I'm just talking to the camera. This looks like this would be a really good lookout point if we could see anything. Ooh. Ah. What's on the menu for night 2, you ask? Well, sweet pork and rice by Peak Refuel. She's delicious. She's nutritious. And she's full of calories. 800 to be exact, because I'm eating this whole thing. All right, we were both in our hammocks here at Kyle's Landing. We just finished up dinner, got the food all put up and it's hung, and we're laying in our hammocks about to pass out. It's been a long day. We're about 22 miles into the trail now, so hoping we can do about, I don't know, 11 or so tomorrow and set us up for an easy day on Monday. So we'll see you in the morning. We can check out Kyle's Landing. Good morning. Here we are at Kyle's Landing campground. I'll spin you around here. You can see these rock formations. Check that out. Here we are at Kyle's Landing. You can find these beautiful bluffs right here next to the camping area. My son and I are just hanging out by the fire, finishing our breakfast here. Ourselves a nice warm toilet this morning. There's my son's hammock over there. I've got mine pretty well put up already, but I'll go help him here in a minute. We'll get him situated. But for now, we're just gonna hang out by the fire, kind of finish our breakfast and get all this packed up. All right, we are leaving camp at Kyle's Landing. We are heading east. We'll pass Triple Falls here in a couple miles. Not really sure if there's gonna be any water there or not, so we're gonna pack a couple liters plus what we have in our beef freeze just to get us through lunch and everything. It's a nice sunny day, pretty chilly this morning, so we're just trying to get the blood flowing. But yeah, it's a nice sunny day, so hopefully we can get some good footage of the trail. So we'll see you in a bit. We're just gonna keep on trucking. Ooh, it's cold this morning. It's really cold. Ready to get nice and warmed up. Kind of need a hill or two to make that happen. But it's nice and sunny and it's beautiful. And I got great company back there. Just look at them. Just look at them. Man, well, be careful what you wish for. I'm warmed up now. Climbing up this hellacious hill here, and we still got quite a bit to go up there, so. But I am warm, so that's good. What do you think, dude? Huh? What do you think?
I'm tired.
Tired?
Yeah.
Oh, you're only 14. Got all the energy in the world.
Tired.
This is Kyle's Landing Road. The road actually looks pretty dang good. They've done some work on it. I'll get a little footage of this road so you people can see how nice it is. I've seen this road in really bad shape. We might have missed it back there. Old Stone Ape Adventures would love this one. Look at all the big green mossy rocks you can see. My goodness, you'd have a field day out here, dude. Up here. All right, we are a little over 27 miles into the trail, puts us a little bit over 5 miles for the day. So we're gonna stop right here and just have ourselves a little bit of lunch and maybe some electrolytes and kind of recharge for a minute before we do one last final push for the day. Irby is 1 mile away, and Ozark Campground is 7 miles away. In case your eyes are messed up, you know. Nothing. What's up, guys? We are about 30 miles into the trail. Let's go this way, which puts us about 8 miles for the day. We are taking a little detour about 0.2 off the trail to walk down into Irby Campground to come down here and get some water, because I don't think we'll have access to water from here on out tonight. We won't make it all the way to Ozark, so yeah, I'm looking at the map right now. We definitely need to fill up here because Ozark's a pretty good hike from where we're at. That's what we're gonna do, fill up here and then get back on the trail.
For this trip, I decided to bring my Katadyn Be-Free for water filtration, along with a Canuck bag for storing and carrying water. Filling the Canuck bags at this spot was actually pretty tricky, so with a little help from my son, we ended up using the Be-Free bladder to fill them up instead. So here, we're just topping off enough water to get us to the next water source. We need to make sure that we've got plenty to get us through dinner tonight and at least breakfast tomorrow morning. For me, I typically store and carry my water unfiltered and just filter it as I go.
Beaver's been gnawing on this log. No, I think it's a beaver. It's definitely the work of a beaver. Little trail update. We are approaching our 10th mile of the day. That puts us at 32 miles for the trip. So I think we're roughly 1 mile from a backcountry campsite that I think we're going to try to claim as long as no one's there, which will set us up for I think maybe a 6 mile day tomorrow to finish up the trail, which isn't too bad at all. So we're just gonna keep on trucking. I think a backcountry campsite awaits us at the top of this hill somewhere. There it is. Beautiful. Right next to a cemetery.
Night 3 campfire. Might be the best campfire. Nice and warm. Some solid coals there. Got to warm up real quick before I go hang my food up for the 3rd time tonight. Off we go. We've already hung up our food for the night, but I forgot some extra food at camp one time, and Brody has since forgotten some food in his pack as well, so this is the 3rd time we've hung up our food. A little deja vu here. There it is. It's beautiful food bags. See the full moon behind them? Look at that. Ooh. All right, we're coming live from the hammock. Night 3. We are camped at a backcountry campsite just across from the 8-acre cemetery. So trying to be nice and polite and respectful, and we're gonna go to bed early this evening. Try not to shake things up too bad over here. It's nice and cold, not too windy. Had a good campfire and a good meal, and we've put in about 32 miles so far, so we've got about 6 or 7, I think, to finish up tomorrow. So looking forward to my hot meal in the morning. I haven't had a hot breakfast this whole time, so that'll be nice. And then I think when we get out of here, we may go try to get a good meal. That's always something we look forward to when we get off the trail. It's something we talk about is what's the first meal that we're going to go eat when we get off the trail. It's always fun. So looking forward to that. But we will see you in the morning. Good morning. Coming to you live from the hammock once again. This is the morning of day 4. It's about 7:15 in the morning, pretty cold. This hammock is really comfortable. So I'm just kind of laying here, trying to gather up my courage so I can get up and start doing my chores. But it's so warm in this hammock right now, comfortable. I do not want to get up, but here in a minute I will, and we'll start a fire and get some breakfast going and start packing up camp. So until then, see you later. All right, we are out of the hammock, and it is cold. Got a beautiful sunrise over here. Got Brody back there getting us a nice morning fire going. See his hammock back there behind me with his tarp. And there is my hammock and tarp right there. So we're just gonna get this fire going, get us some breakfast going, have us some breakfast, and then get a pretty good little pace and hike out of here. This last little 6-7 miles or so is pretty easy hiking, and we're gonna try to get out here and go get some food. Probably not eat lunch on the trail and hold out and get some food maybe in Jasper or something. So looking forward to that. So see you guys later.
All right, it is off to retrieve the food bags this morning so we can have some breakfast. All right, look at these beautiful food bags. Beautiful thing. Nothing got into our food, so it's time to eat. All right, we are all packed up. We're a little over 32 miles in. We've got about, I don't know, 6 or 7 miles to finish up today. We're gonna get us some food and just chill out until gotta go to work tomorrow. And Brady has school tomorrow, so that kind of sucks. But we will get some good food after this hike. You better believe it. We have arrived at Cedar Glade picnic area. All right, we are leaving Cedar Glade. We've had it with this dump. I'm just kidding. Cedar Glade's really pretty. I like that area. Been there a few times. Actually camped there once, accidentally. Well, camped there kind of not knowing it was just a picnic area. So anyways, I do like Cedar Glade. Just making a joke. Posted up on a log. Just posted up on a log. Taking a little break, waiting on Brody. He's a little bit behind me. There he is. Right, we just came through Ozark Campground. We've been walking a little ways, so we've got probably about 2 miles to finish up the trail. We're gonna get out of here and maybe go into Jasper and go get us some pizza or something. We're both pretty starving, so looking forward to that. Whew. Just a little thought I'm having as I'm walking here. You know, there's probably some debate around the state as to what the toughest backpacking trail is, but I've often heard people say that Eagle Rock Loop is the toughest backpacking trail in the state. I've done Eagle Rock Loop, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 times, something like that, and I'm here to tell you the Buffalo River Trail from Boxley to Pruitt is harder. It's longer. There's a lot more elevation gain. And on the Buffalo River Trail, water is a huge factor. It can be. Even if the trail is pretty wet, you still have some sections where you'll be wild. Well, that are dry, where you're hiking without water. But on Eagle Rock Loop, water is not a factor. It's never a factor. You can go to Eagle Rock Loop the driest part of the year when every other trail is bone dry, and you'll still have access to water at Eagle Rock Loop. So if I'm just comparing those two trails, I say the BRT is more difficult, hands down. Well, as the trail winds down and we walk the last mile here or so, just kind of reflecting on the trail and the journey over the last 4 days. It's a redemption hike for me. I tried this trail a year ago and didn't quite make it to the end. This is a redemption hike for me, and one that I really wanted to do, and it was even more special. I got to spend it with my son, my 14-year-old son. It's the longest hike that either of us have ever done. So it's a pretty cool thing to do, and it's probably a memory that we'll both cherish and carry with us for the rest of our lives. And so that being said, it's been great. This isn't the end. I just wanted to kind of share what I was thinking. So I'll see you guys. All right. We did it. 40 miles.